I like the gym, let's go. Beanshooter, somebody's gotta let them know. Beanshooter, I like the gym, let's go. Beanshooter, it's not a line he doesn't toe. In a world full of dogs, you're gonna need a dog catcher. If you're wearing a mask out there, and fresh air's gonna get you. He always shoots from the hip. For iced coffee, take a sip. Toss it out the window at a bar, let her rip. Beanshooter, like a gin, let's go. Beanshooter, somebody's gotta let them know. Beanshooter, like a gin, let's go. Beanshooter, there's not a line he doesn't toe.
All right, episode 46.
Do we rock these?
You can if you want.
Okay. All right.
Last episode, we had Jermaine Wiggins on, which was great, neighborhood friend of Johnny's. And today we have another East Boston character in the building. I consider him a friend now. We met recently, but we hit it right off. Him and his brother Jake, great people.
Thank
Rex
you.
DePalma, who's directing a new movie. It's going to start filming in and around the Boston area next week, right?
This week.
This week. Well,
Yeah.
by the time this out, it'll be already filming. But yeah, this week he's starting to film, and the name of the movie's called Pressed. And I'll let him tell you a little bit about it, but I'll say it's about the fentanyl crisis and
Absolutely.
and the fake pills and well, I'll let you say a little bit, say your piece a little bit.
Well, I picked this genre because I felt it was an untouched subject. I started writing it during COVID out of frustration of my first feature was already in development and then it got canceled because of COVID. And, those big features cost millions of dollars. So really it was born because I wanted to make something on my own. So I started thinking like contained and I'm like, all right, Tarantino, Reservoir Dogs, big robbery. We don't see it. We see the aftermath in a garage. What could I do present day that's like contemporary? And that's when fentanyl just kind of like blew up. So I was like, let me write something around that. And then it was kind of born. I was like, what would it be like to see through the eyes of the guys who are doing that type of shit? Because everyone has their own reasons for doing stuff. Like these are horrible people, but at the same time, they're people. And that emotion of like going from making a ton of money, like the most money you ever made, then literally just finding out you killed 30 people. What's that like? And you're sitting in the apartment.
Yeah.
So that's where Pressed was born. And the double entendre of Pressed, it's a pressing situation. So like the whole movie's like watching a horrific car accident in slow motion.
Yeah.
But it's not a total downer. There's definitely some levity in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's some good characters. I read the first script, the rough script, right?
Yeah. You read the first draft.
Yeah, the first draft. While I was on a flight, and it was great. Right away there's a few things. I can't spoiler alert, but I'm like, oh man, just certain things happen, and it's happening pretty fast. But like you said, I just read the first one, but yeah, I think it's going to be great.
Sucked you in.
Yeah, it sucked me in. It did. I hadn't read nothing in a while, Johnny. I used to read books all the time.
You ain't read a book since you was in the joint, kid.
I was an avid reader.
No doubt.
Avid reader.
No doubt.
Read a lot of books. And, something's really going to keep my interest. You can tell me this is a good book and I read 2-3 chapters. And if I'm not hooked, I'm throwing it by the wayside. And, I've read everything. But true crime, I liked a lot. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. If I read something that I thought wasn't believable, it's like me watching a movie and something's like, oh, that ain't real. Get out of here. That's too far-fetched.
Right.
You know what I mean? That ain't real. And, I read that and I liked it. I liked it right away. I had to do a little correction on some prices of certain narcotics.
Good, I like that.
Because you don't want to come out and say,
Yeah. The consulting is good. There'll be an extra.
Get another check for that.
Yeah,
Mike.
I'm going to be in the credits.
On-set consultant of,
I just think that the best thing about the movie is I read a lot about it and I talked to Rex about it. I talked to other people that are involved in the projects. It's timely. right? It's so timely. I mean, that's all you hear about. You know, there's this phenomenon now with fentanyl. Like for me, it's like getting out of jail after so long. I remember heroin addicts, you know, talking about like, and getting back on the same sentence. But these are people that, like, I don't know how they, you know, contort their bodies, like, and it's something that's, you know, it's unique with fentanyl and the epidemic that's happening today, and just seeing people today with these chemicals and what has happened, like, and you know, when Rex asked us to be part of this, you know what I mean? I just thought it was so timely and, you know, obviously a great opportunity, right? And then when we went there, we were like, I don't know what to think. But then after talking to Rex and after talking to all the people that were involved, I mean, it's an exciting thing. I'm very excited about it. I mean, you know, the sky's the limit, what I think. And I think the movie, to me, it's something that I want to watch. And I'm not even a movie goer.
Yeah. Well, it was great that when we met him, when he had the casting call at the Squire in Revere, thanks to those guys, right?
Yeah.
Peter
DePisa.
Peter opened up the doors and helped Johnny out, and by way of Johnny, you and just going in there to be part of this, not to just watch.
To sit back there and casting with these guys. How about when Rex went to the bathroom and says, "Hey, you guys handle the casting." I was like, "Okay, so hey, check this out." I became a director for like 7 seconds, and then I stopped where I got stuck for a second. Mike jumped in and said, "Well, you know what?" He goes, "How long you been doing this?" You know what I mean? So it was great. Me and Mike. I mean, we've doubled as everything.
Two brothers come in. He goes, "Give him a scenario." I'm like, "Okay, he's the bartender sitting down, and your sister's a stripper here, and you heard that he was selling your sister perks, and these two guys are like, you know." So I'm sitting back like, I can do this. I can be a director. This is easy.
It's just like, if you could explain your vision really well. That's how I learned. I didn't go to school for this. You know, I just loved movies, and I just make what I want to see. And that was a great compliment I got from you, because same thing my brother said, like, you know, he doesn't read. And that's how I knew I had a hitter, because as soon as I finished it, I gave it to my brother Jake. He read it in 45 minutes. Yeah. I've been writing scripts since 2010, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's good." Never fucking reads them. Yeah. But fucking this one, he was like, "I read it. It's great." Like, because he knows the world. And I just knew this one was special. And like, how everything just came about. Like, I didn't know how I was going to get the money. I just knew I was going to do this. And I didn't write it to be all big and have all these actors. I just wrote it, and I was going to do it with kids from around here. And then I just posted it up, shits and giggles. And, you know, I got 10,000 submissions in one day.
That's unbelievable.
And now, you know, we have big names, and it's crazy. Like, this movie may sell before we even finish shooting. It's pretty nuts.
I think it sells itself because it's in the news every day. Yesterday, I sent my daughter something. My daughter goes to high school, and she goes to another high school after and tries to learn a trade. She's in a welding class. Then she waits tables. So she's a good kid considering how she grew up, which wasn't easy. You know, I got custody of her when she was 6. She was bouncing around. Mother's not in her life. I was, you know, away most of her life. She didn't even know me when I got her. And she, you know, knock on wood, she's 16. And she turned out to be a good kid, but she smokes a little weed, nothing crazy. She only drank a couple times, a little bit. And I opened my phone the other day, and a young girl died of fentanyl overdose smoking marijuana. Someone put it. I have the screenshot of it. Who the fuck will put fentanyl in weed, cheap. Right? Yeah, cheap. And I sent her the screenshot of it. Like, hey, what the fuck?
Be careful.
Yeah, you don't. You know what I mean? I mean, so every day there's something in the news, man, about the fake pills.
That's the stats is what got me really like gung ho about it, because when people wanted to get involved, and like I could have sold this and like, you know, made some like good money, like, you know, early last year, and it probably would have not got made or got shelved or done the wrong way. And when I heard the stats, I didn't believe it. I had no idea that fentanyl poisoning is the #1 cause of death in America. Wow. It beats cancer. It beats heart attacks. It beats car accidents.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The stat is every 11 minutes. And most of the people dying aren't even addicts. It's like first-time users or people who get killed. Like within the movie, that's kind of, we're dialing it back a little bit. When it first came out, dealers were just pressing them and lying to make extra money. Now it's so bad, you got addicts wanting that. Yeah. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we want the strong shit." But when it first came out, so many people were dying because they were passing them off as real. And this sucks because if a young kid, 14, 15, they never did anything, they never had a habit, they take one pill, they're dead. That's it. There's no rehab. There's no second chance. There's nothing.
Yeah, like
And
you
that
said.
ain't fair. That's murder.
Yeah, like you said, taking it now. Like you ever hear Kodak Black, Gremlin? So
Yeah.
the line in that, he goes, "I knew the perk was fake, but I still ate it because I'm a gremlin."
Yeah, it's
But-
fucked up. And that's what, I'm not some preachy guy, but the youth is fucking programmed wrong right now.
Yeah, how do you, like, I say it now, being sober and being an ex heroin addict and everything addict, but if you're growing up and you're seeing this, how could you even start doing it?
Because you felt like you did when you was a kid.
Yeah.
When I did when I was a
Yeah.
kid, we're invisible. You know what I'm saying? That stuff don't matter to us. But I think really the point here is it's just like when we had Jermaine on, Jermaine, East Boston kid, talking about his uncle dying,
Yeah.
right? My friend Chucky Lip, and Rex. We have Rex talking about that this statistic that was shocking to us. We didn't know that. We both said at the same time. I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that like guys like especially you and I, we're in recovery and we kind of don't preach recovery, but we're around for people that if they do have a problem that they can talk to us. And I think that's people that have like the microphone in front of them. I think that's a powerful point. And, it goes to kind of almost neutralize Rex's point, right? That there's a lot of people that are doing the wrong thing in the youth today, but there's a lot of people doing the right thing. And I think that's at least a little hopeful for guys like you who are parents that sent this screenshot to their daughter saying, hey, that's okay to smoke pot, I guess. You know what I'm saying? It's legal, but look.
Yeah, watch out. It's there.
You see what I'm saying?
It's
So I guess that.
I saw something before like that. This was like, I don't know if it was like a fake dispensary. It was in like Syracuse, but somebody got gummies and there was fentanyl in them. Well, they went in and tested them because somebody overdosed.
It makes you think, man, because like it was a whole conspiracy thing back when crack came out. And then we find out years later, it was a whole thing. Like there wasn't some guy who just figured out the recipe. Like, hey, let me just see what happens when I mix this together. So where the fuck did this shit come from? Why does it keep getting pumped out? Why are they putting it in everything?
Yeah.
So it really makes you think. I don't understand.
It's like they're tearing the fabric of our society. The enemy. China.
Yeah.
So
The enemy.
you don't see it in Colombia or in these other places. You don't see fentanyl and everything.
I don't know about fentanyl, but
Only in America.
There's some other things going on out there a little bit.
Not the fentanyl.
Yeah.
You don't see the fentanyl out there.
I've seen you guys doing some other things
You
out there.
you know better than us. But I've seen like there's like that Tusi, stuff like that. Or
If I ever relapse, it's going to be on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
Yeah, I would love to partake in that.
it's a whole other story for another day, Mike.
I always say if I relapse, it's going to be mushrooms or something like that. Because I'm somewhat of a proponent for psilocybin. I think it's harmless. I think it's good. I mean, I always think weed too. I think if I smoked weed, right, I don't think I would go and do heroin. But I've been clean and sober so long that the risk reward. Why?
Nothing appealing.
Why do it?
Nothing appealing.
Why do anything?
That's right.
You know what I'm
my
saying?
brother Ronnie put it the best when he said to me, he come in to visit me. My brother Ronnie's dead. He died of almost an overdose. He had a heart attack. So he said to me, he goes, this was like I was like 15 years in prison. He said, do you think you would ever use drugs or drink again? I said, you know what, Ronnie? I think I got great willpower now. I think my life is different. I think that I could do it and not, have any problem with it. And you know what he said to me? Then why would you?
Yeah.
If you got willpower, and yet why would you? And that stuck with me forever. So that's kind of what I think all the time. So if you think you got willpower and you think you can do it and you think you'll be all right, why would you?
Yeah. And I'll tell you, the guys like us that have been clean for a while, we're the ones that die. The guys that get out of jail that haven't done it for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, some people, and if you're on the street doing it every day, like I see people out there that have been in the streets doing it forever that are still alive.
Perfect example.
But you know what? Your number's going to come up. Your number's going to come up doing that stuff. But if you have any type of clean time where your body is used to it and, and you're alone, I mean, that stuff's going to,
it's Russian roulette.
Yeah. It's going to get you.
Even if it isn't fentanyl, like just any time, it's like, Russian roulette. You get a lot of clean time, and then you try to do your old dose of like even perks. You go to sleep, you won't wake up.
Yeah, like the old days, it was mixing the benzos and the dope. You know what I mean?
right.
I'd done it for a while, and I loved it. I loved the benzos and the dope. So I was a prime candidate, and I always said, "Thank God." So I actually overdosed on fentanyl once.
Really?
And back in the day, if you look, I remember there was a guy from Burlington who did it. Like he'd go to Mexico and get a kilo of fentanyl, like some chemist knew, right?
Yeah.
And they call it China White. And every once in a while it would come around. And when it did, they would literally trace the deaths. It would be like from Mexico all the way to California up. And you'd see it like a line of deaths, the fentanyl, right? If you go back and look at this, I remember the guy from Burlington, they arrested. He was like a chemist. And he was in the feds. And you see it go all the way up New York. And they would just... People would die all along, and this would come out and be like strong dope. And I was out all night.
And no one knew what it was back then.
Yeah, no, they call it China White. It was white then. Now it's brown like the other dope. But I remember when I did it, I was up all night. I had Corey Dillon jersey. I went to a Patriots game, and then I seen some girl and started doing the coke and up all night. And then in the morning, I wanted to get some dope, some landing gear, to come down. And I saw a kid, AJ, I know from Lowell, was still out there struggling, trying to get it. He just put a little time together, and now hopefully he's back in doing the right thing. But he goes, I can get you this China White. And he says, we can go to my place afterwards. So he goes and gets it. We're walking. All of a sudden, he walks behind this gas station on these train tracks. He starts climbing in between a train. And I remember I just got out, and I had on like nice jeans and a Corey Dillon jersey on, and I got like grease all over my pants. I'm like, dude, where are we going? He said, we're going to my place. And I jumped down on the other side of the train tracks. We were in the snow, and he had a tent. I'm like, this is your place? I mean, here we are, right? So I went in the tent.
You still went in.
And I remember setting up the shot and doing it. And like I said, I went to the Patriots game, and I was up all night. So it was a Sunday night. It was Monday morning, like 6, 7 in the morning. And next thing you know, I woke up, and I was in ICU. And my family was around me, and a girl, and my aunt, and my father, and Spiro was there, and the doctor come over, and he said, "Do you know what day it is?" And I was thinking, "Fuck, I remember the 10th. It's coming back to me, And I just got out like a week before. I was on parole, and I said Monday, and he said, "No, it's Friday night, almost midnight. It's almost Saturday." And I was like, "What the fuck? Where'd 5 days go?" And they said, "You overdosed on fentanyl. They found you in a tent, and it's coming back to me." I'm like, "Oh man," and the crazy thing was...
So did you get, did they have Narcan back? Like, how long ago was that?
Yeah, so this is the story. Jesus, 2001?
Wow.
A while ago. So the kid I was with, I had a Motorola Razr phone. Do you remember those?
Flip, the first flip, kid.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was my prized possession. So I had the Razr phone. I remember I had like $380 on me, and now I'm saying, "Hey, how much money did I have on me?" And they found me, like, "Oh, you didn't have any money." So now I want to, I want to get this kid. I want to unalive the kid. You didn't even cut that out last time. We talked about the word unalive. You left
you wanted to unalive him over the 380.
So I get out, and I think I told this story before. The little cop Tom Lafferty, who was a detective, who I'm actually friends with now. I know him. His kids are great kids. He got my phone, my Razr phone, and I got out like a week or two before. So my only contacts were like my aunt, girlfriend, this and that. Like there was no drug deals in the phone. So he starts calling every number, and Mike gave me a number. I need 2 brown, 1 white. Like,
oh my God.
Aunt's like 70. She's like, what? Like 60. What? 2 brown? What are you talking about? Brown sugar? So now I'm driving around looking for this kid, and back then, no one had Narcan like now, right? And I overdosed in the tent, and I find out this kid, AJ, hit me with Narcan once, hit me with Narcan a second time. Like, who the hell had a bottle of Narcan then?
At that time, yeah. So how did that happen?
Exactly, right? Exactly. So he told me afterwards, there's this kid, Tito, there, who just passed away recently. And Tito goes, "That's enough." And the kid, AJ, said, "What do you mean that's enough? He's dead. We could shoot the whole bottle out." I'm like, "What do you mean? That's too much?" He goes, "I hit you with a 3rd shot of Narcan." He goes, "And you started going," he goes, "You were black."
Well, he probably saved your life.
He said, "Probably." Now, where I was,
it's worth 380.
Where I was in the train tracks to get there, we had to climb through a boxcar. So now how's paramedics going to come rescue me? He climbs through the train, runs down to the gas station, the Shell station on Gorham Street, calls 911. They pull up. He gets on a fire truck, drives a 1/4 mile up the street, takes a right under a bridge at the beginning of the train, and they drive down the railroad tracks and get me. And I'm looking at this kid because I want unalive them.
Yeah.
For 35, $350 or whatever I had in my
$380, right?
pocket.
And he saved
And
you.
yeah, and then when I calmed down, I realized, but yeah, it was fentanyl. I overdosed on fentanyl. So
That's
that
crazy.
was way back. It wasn't.
Was that it for you or no?
Oh no. There was,
Really?
Yeah, there was another 11, 12 years of misery going through that. Yeah, I've overdosed so many times. That was just once, but yeah, that was a big one where 5 days in a coma, and I remember my daughter's mother.
5 days.
My daughter's mother said, "You know what? You're slower now." I said, "Well, I've always been a little slow, so no, just a little slower." But she's like, "No, you were real quick before." She goes, "You lost a step." I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, thanks for the good news, honey." Well, but yeah, that was. I've been in a coma another time also, but that was the longest, the 5 days in the coma. You know what I mean?
So what was it that made you finally snap out of it? Because your story is very unusual. Usually people get to a certain point, they're just too far gone. What changed it for you?
One of the last times I got out before, when I got out of prison the last time in 2011, I remember I turned 40 in there, and I remember saying, if I get a habit again, and this is me, I'm just going to wave the white flag and get on the methadone clinics. I never wanted to get on the clinic. I saw everyone on that, and sure enough, I got a habit, and so I got on the clinic and figured, because I'm selling dope, that I won't have to do as much and I'll make more money. And sure enough, I catch a case. Just I'm selling dope. I catch a case, distribution of Class A. And now I'm on the methadone clinic and I'm out on bail, and the cops still follow me around, grab me, search me. I'm like, they're going to arrest me and revoke my bail. And my friend Mickey Ward, the fighter. So Mickey had an open invitation. He had a friend in Florida who had this rehab, and he asked me if I wanted to go. And a couple of times I said, "No, I'm doing great. I'm on the clinic and this and that." And finally, now I'm out on bail. And if you've ever kicked methadone, especially in jail, now it's different. Now they give it to you in there, and they give you Suboxone, and they give you whatever. But back then it was just, send me to the hole, because I'm not going to be in a cell with a guy like Johnny who's working out every day, and I'm fucking shitting my pants and up all night shivering and shaking. So when you go in and kick, it's just like, hey, just say to the cop, just lug me now. I don't want to be an ass. I'm not going to lock in with anyone. Just, start writing the report now. You know what I mean? Because I gotta go the hole for a month and deal with this. So I was petrified. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to go back in and kick. I had a dope habit and I had the methadone. So I called up Mickey, and he got me a place down in Florida. And at the time, I never thought I'd ever stay clean forever. It was just, well, I might as well kick in a nice fucking rehab instead of a prison cell where I'm crawling under the bed and, up and in the fetal position on the floor. So that was, I went down to Florida. I didn't know anybody down there. It got me away from, if I was around Boston, anywhere close to Lowell, I'd call some girl, "Hey, I got thrown out, pick me up at the train station." I was always conniving.
Didn't you think there was, they had something to give you a little maintenance, and you thought they had some drugs for you, some tranquilizers, anything, and you were just happy to get in the door, and then when you got in the door, they said, "We don't have none of that."
Yeah.
This cold turkey.
No, Mickey told me they had methadone. He's like, "Yeah, they'll take you down real slow." Down in the clinic. I get in there, they're like, "Yeah, we don't have methadone."
We don't have that.
So it was a brutal kick.
You were like, "Mickey, it's hard to get methadone. Make sure this place got methadone." Mike, they got methadone. I already called. I already talked to
Sold me
them.
the whole bill of
You
goods.
never went.
No, and then when he walked me in the door, he goes, "Mike, this is the last time you got to do this."
He saved your life.
That's an amazing thing. I remember him saying that to you, telling me, of course, that he said that, hey, listen, this is the last time you have to do this.
Yeah. He tells it, when he tells the story, it's hilarious. He goes, "You were like this." I looked so bad. I was sick. I was white as a sheet, and then I found out they didn't have anything, and it was 4 or 5 days, and then I've told the story countless times, and they come in and said, "Hey, you haven't gotten out of bed, you're puking all over the place, you haven't gotten in the shower, you haven't eaten one thing, you're not drinking anything." And people say, "Oh, drink fluids, this and that." But when I'm sick, it's just get away from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Get away from me. And they come in and say, "We're going to put you on Hydromed," which was like a liquid Vicodin, 7.5 milligrams, like a Vicodin ES. So they gave me one of them, and a little syrup cup, and that they gave me that for 2-3 days. But after 4 or 5 days with nothing, it took the edge off, and that was the beginning. And I remember when they sent me out of the rehab after like 3 weeks in the detox to the rehab on the other side, I'm sitting there and I was smoking Camel non-filters, and Mickey hooked it up where you could have $50 sent to you every week. And there was a little store there, and they had like a little sub shop in there where you could get like a steak and cheese and some Snickers and Doritos and a Red Bull. And you go in there and they take you food shopping too. This place was so nice. They take you to the supermarket once a week and you could spend like, I don't know, $50 there also, but I think they paid for it. It was, yeah. And like you and your 3 roommates, you get 2 steaks and, we'll get the rice and you cook together. It was a real nice place. But this little store where you could spend $50 a week. I remember I was sitting on the balcony. It was like an old Motel 6. This guy converted to a rehab. There was a pool there. It was really a really nice place. And I'm smoking a Camel non-filter and all of a sudden, I'm trying to call home to get money sent to me. And then they come in, they said, hey, it's all hooked up. Mickey hooked it up, but you just get $50 a week. I don't know how. You don't get a call home. You're not going to get on the phone. Awesome. You're not going to call anyone for money. You're good. So I'm sitting there smoking a cigarette and I see all these people lined up at like the store where they sell the sub shops. I'm saying to my roommate, I go, why is everyone lined up? He goes, today's Thursday, the day, like when you spend the 50, Thursday morning, it reboots again. If you have money, where you get another 50 on the card.
Commissary.
So I go,
almost.
but you could go to the supermarket. So I go, so why is everyone lined up like that? And he goes, cigarettes. And all of a sudden my mind was like, Rain Man coming down the escalator in the casino. I'm thinking, I want Snickers bars. Like I'm starting to crave like sweets and good food, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, cigarettes, $50 a week. So I took a drag and I flicked it and I go, well, that's a wrap. And I remember this guy, he had long hair and a ponytail. He goes, what? I go, just quit cigarettes too. He goes, yeah, I know. I go, yeah, I know too. That was it. That was my last cigarette. Awesome. Yeah, that was my last cigarette too, man.
That's awesome. I never smoked cigarettes, and now I'm smoking this fucking vape.
Fuck them. So yeah, that was it. That was how it happened, and I never thought.
Congratulations on all that, though, man. It's a really harrowing story, and the odds were stacked against you, but you're here, man.
Oh yeah, and so many overdoses, like I said, where if I was around when this Fetty was out. No chance.
Probably wouldn't have made it.
And God forbid, like Johnny says, when I grew up, it was people that were geeked out.
Yeah.
You'd see the cokeheads of the jaw movement and freaked out, and you'd see the dope fiends, nodding out. Mm-hmm. But now, like you said, they're contorted, they're in wheelchairs, they're twisted up. This xylazine got this stuff with it's coming out the skin. They're all scalped.
I know. They're picking their faces.
Oh, man. Well, there's always been the pickers. We've always known the pickers. But it's. I know someone who picked the whole earlobe off in the Motel 6 with a tweezers. Looked like he was in a fire afterwards. Oh my God! Yep. I remember when I was in that hotel room in that bathroom when the kid picked his whole earlobe off with tweezers. It was like a murder scene in the bathroom of blood. And I remember being in that hotel room, and there was a Boston Herald, and I opened it up, and it was a write-up about Mickey's fight against Sanchez, where he was getting his ass kicked the whole fight, and then he hit the kid with a body shot. And I remember Steve Smoga he was a famous ref. He just passed away. He was actually a judge from New Jersey. And he said, when Mickey hit him with that body shot, it was like he got hit by a bullet from a sniper. He just bumped God. Like he just crumpled up. Like God, I remember being in that hotel room and reading that article while this kid was, removing his fucking
that little
earlobe.
Detail like that, I don't think that's ever been seen in cinema, because I feel like people always read the footnotes in Hollywood and just write about other people's stories.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to separate me from other artists. Hopefully what separates this movie. I'm making the movie that I've never seen and I've always wanted to see.
Yeah.
Because, you got to have life experience to write, some of the shit I went through was very uncomfortable. And I hated going through it. But if I didn't go through it, I wouldn't be able to write certain things.
Yeah.
And I think that's why so many people have identified with this script and this, because it comes there's pieces of me on that page. I bled on the page. And the best art comes from pain, and it sucks, but that's how it is. Think back of the Italian Renaissance, Michelangelo, Leonardo, that was right after the Dark Ages. And it was a horrible time, but that's the most beautiful art there is.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff,
good analogy.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff I went through, stuff family members went through. I lost my cousin, who's my brother before my brother was born. probably was fentanyl. Who knows? We didn't
Yeah.
know about fentanyl then, but you know, he died. I couldn't go to his funeral because I was on house arrest in Cali. And
You talking about Chucky?
no, Anthony Scapa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a shame. He was the best.
How old?
I think he just turned 30 around that
Yeah.
time. It was horrible. And, you know, I went my whole life never touching those things ever. And then for some reason in my 30s, I caught a little habit.
Yeah.
And I almost didn't break away. And I always racked my mind, like, why did that episode happen? But if that episode didn't happen, I wouldn't have known what the fuck I was talking about. I wouldn't know how to describe these certain emotions. So it's like everything you go through, you know, you could either look at the glass half full or half empty, you know? And that's how I never wanted to be a preachy filmmaker. But with this film, I hope that I could educate a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
Because I think the young crowd's going to really pay attention to this because a lot of things are going to be spot on. But this movie's going to be like for everyone. Like, you know how everybody likes Goodfellas, everyone likes Casino?
Yeah.
Like all ages. This movie isn't for the young crowd. It's
Yeah,
not
this
for
is
the
just
old
targeting
crowd.
one audience.
Nah, like this is, as long as it comes out like it is in my mind, people are going to be like blown away.
You got to be the engineer. You got to make sure it does.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting a lot of blessings. Like the crew that has come together. I don't know how they came together. It's really weird. It's bizarre. But I'm so excited, a little nervous, but I think I'm going to deliver, you know?
The little short film you made, I was talking to your cousin, Jermaine Wiggins, about it. And it's cool because he knew about it in the van. I was talking to him about it, the one you showed me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Did
That
you
was
ever
the
see
first
that, Johnny?
thing I ever did.
You got to see that, Johnny. It's cool.
So the story behind that was, I did a little time in Cali.
Yeah.
And
I'm Central.
yeah, all over. Twin Towers, Wayside. They sucked. It was just county, but county's fucking
Yeah,
dope.
Worst bid to do it.
County.
Might as well have,
Yeah,
you know,
like-
Worst bid.
I wanted to
Worst bid
catch
is
the
a county
chain.
bid. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, once I had a taste of that, you know, I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? I came out to LA to be in entertainment and I never got in trouble in Boston. I get in trouble out here.
Right.
So I just came back and I was like, I'm making a movie. And everyone was like, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm making a movie. And everyone thought I was fucking nuts. Like literally, because I had no experience. And I just got a camera, made a movie. And then I didn't have any money to have anyone edit it. So I just edited it, just learned.
Really?
Yeah. And yeah, that started my career. And fucking the ball just kept rolling. And then COVID hit and that shut me down for a bit.
Yeah.
But
that's fucking-
that led to this, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
everything
So, yeah.
happens, you know?
Yeah.
So it all depends on how you look at it, you know? Like you went through something really harrowing and you could be like, oh, fucking that part of my life. But look at you now. You're living your best life. It looked like you had the
100%.
best time ever in Colombia when I was looking at those videos.
Yeah, great time in Colombia.
Yeah.
Colombia was great. But I just think that, you know, to just pigeonhole Colombia, I'm saying just the whole experience for me has been amazing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just being out, like, you know?
Yeah, and I'm saying, so like guys like you come into my life, right? Guys like, you know, I've been introduced to you, but guys like Mike, you know what I'm saying? This whole podcast is where really our relationship started. Our relationship started with me sitting right there, you know what I'm saying? That was really the beginning of it. We had talked before that, but, you know, Mike wanted to get me on the show. But I just think that, you know, like once you start thinking positive and you start doing positive things, I think positive things happen. And I think, you know, you are the ultimate, you know, you're the captain of your own ship. So I just try to, you know, navigate my ship the best way for me and try to help others along the way. It's a win-win situation.
Absolutely.
And you know, touching on what you went through, I mean, you did 27 and, you know, I like to call him a friend. Our friend Gigi did what, 30?
28.
28.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
28. So he's part of this.
So yeah.
And he's a big part of it.
Major part.
You know?
Without him, this honestly wouldn't be happening. And like I said, I had my head down. This movie was going to happen regardless because, you know, I shot that first movie by myself and it would have just been shoestring, you know? I would have just did it. And I just I don't know. I just kept working, and I just was like, this is going to happen. I had no idea where anything was going to come from. And then out of nowhere, I get a call for something completely different. And, since that man's come into my life, everything's just been positive. And, we worked on a book, Patriarchal Purge. You should buy it. It's on sale right now.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Where can you get it?
Amazon.
Oh, all right.
Yep. It's on Kindle. We got it. So ebook and soft cover. We're going to have a special edition hardcover with extra pictures, trial transcripts soon. That's not out yet. But we're going to be turning that into a documentary series and a mini series after pressed. And just seeing what he went through, you think like you yourself too, like you came out with like a very positive demeanor. And same thing with Gigi. Like
we were together.
I knew Gigi when I was a kid, and he is a completely different person. like he knows about Chinese numerology, and like just I get a text message from him every morning, like follow your dreams, like stay positive. Like he's just so encouraging.
Yeah.
I've never had anybody believe
what a
in
guy.
me. Like,
I mean, what a guy.
It's crazy,
We
you know?
get it right off like Johnny. You know what I mean? He's the best. He's the
Storied past, a very colorful character.
Yeah.
Very serious guy, was in the headlines,
Yeah.
and then to come full circle. And then I was with him in jail, and we had, many a crazy discussion about a lot of crazy things, but helped me. I'll tell you one thing about Gigi. What he did was, for me, is I had got into a serious wreck in the Chow Hall in Lee County Penitentiary. And it was an interracial wreck. So it was me against a black guy. And then it was kind of like, it was turned into almost like a racial situation in the prison. In penitentiaries in the highest securities, it is really racially divisive. So, but Gigi, being the point man and being friendly with everybody and talks to everybody and has a great rapport with everybody, including the staff, right? He went around and got everybody together and ended up getting me out of the hole after like almost a year. But they were going to transfer me. But he ended up, spearheading the effort to,
That's awesome.
to get me out into, just to tell everybody, the way it was, like, that there was it's an isolated incident. It happens, and it's jail. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't, the basis wasn't because of it was a racial thing. The basis is because it was a jail thing. So, but anyway, so he did a lot for me there. And, helped me get, where I wanted to be, back out on the compound instead of getting transferred and, this whole nother.
Starting all over.
The guy definitely knows his way around the law book.
For sure.
That's for sure.
That's for sure, too.
How long's he been out now? Yeah.
I think
No,
Gigi
less
got
than
out
that. But he's still in, I think.
he just got his good time back that year that got taken away from him. They just gave it back to him.
Oh, really?
Perfect.
Yeah, we just found that out this morning.
So he's back to where he was. Cause
yeah,
he was
because
he's
something
gonna stay there
happened,
another
and
year, right?
I think he just has 100 days now.
Good.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's
good.
great. That's great.
And then the bracelet comes off, right?
Anytime. Well, then the bracelet probably would go on if he's on home confinement. So you're in the halfway house. What happens is the halfway house, because you're there every night at like 9 o'clock, right? So they know where you're at. You don't need a bracelet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now once you're out of the house and maybe you go to a home confinement destination, if he's going to live with somebody, then they would put the ankle monitor on to find out where he is at night, make sure he's at home at night. But I'm not sure what his situation is, so I don't want to speak on it.
Yeah.
But that's how the process worked for me. So I was at the halfway house with nothing. Then when I got on home confinement, I had the bracelet, and then you remember because we took the bracelet off that one day I came back to Lowell because I was going to see my probation officer. I got the ankle bracelet off, and 5 minutes later, I'm in a Dunkin' Donuts on Huntington Ave, and my probation officer calls and says, "Hey, why don't you come to Lowell today?" So, of course, I was going to Lowell. I called him, and the first thing he did was take a video saying, "Look at this, you got your ankle bracelet off." I said, "Yeah, look at the tan line." You know what I'm saying? But that's one of our many escapades together.
Freedom. Next level of freedom.
Yeah.
You're not totally free yet, but someday,
But I mean, listen, I got a great rapport with the people that are taking care of me. So
you're doing the right thing.
Hasn't been a problem. You know what I'm saying? So thank God, knock on wood.
Yeah.
So have you had aspirations to work in media before this, or is this like just completely new and you're just following
Listen, we're
it?
going to put Rex in that chair because he's asking all the questions tonight.
Yeah,
and the good ones, right?
yeah.
But no, but what I always thought was, I told Mike this before too. I said, I began to get educated. I educated myself. So had found self-worth. And after self-worth was, I got educated more and began to dream big. So I always thought I would walk through my bid in jail, like, however long ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, starting to think that, hey, there's a story here. You know what I'm saying? So, and I thought nobody could tell my own story better than me. So, I mean, basically that's what I did. Yeah. So that I definitely thought there was a place. I've seen the different platforms with social media, and I began to like kind of look at them and say, wow, okay, there's people doing that. You know what I'm saying? And if this person could do that, I definitely could do that, because I just thought that I didn't know about my delivery and how I would be in front of the camera, or how I would do it. But I thought that, my story had a lot of value.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about starting. That's what I've realized, because I've been a creative my whole life, but I would never work on one thing. That was always my problem. I'd be working on 10 things at once and then still have like one foot in the street too. So once I took my foot out the street, fully focused and narrowed it down to one, that's when it finally worked. Because I've been at this for a while.
How long now?
Shit, I moved to LA when I was 17.
And how old are you now?
38.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I thought you were out there a couple of years. I didn't have no clue. 20 years.
Yeah, moved to LA when I was 17. I got on some TV shows like immediately. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, so I didn't respect it, like, because it happened so fast.
You thought it was going to be a...
Because you hear about it, like people go out there and they're like, oh, I've been here 10 years, but like it just happened like that.
Yeah.
And I was by myself, and I don't know, I just, I'm young in Hollywood. I got my first serious girlfriend, so I'm like chasing girls around, and then like I started making money, and then I stopped wanting to go in a room and like sing for my supper when I was just like, I'm not going to get this fucking part because you already offered it to Shia LaBeouf. You just have me here for like no reason.
Yeah.
So I gave up that, and then I found writing years later. I always wrote, and it just kind of like came about in a weird way, and it's happened organically. I had to go through my path.
Yeah. Yeah, and this one's going to be good.
Oh man, I'm excited.
I got real high hopes for this one.
Yeah. The energy is electric, especially when Jay got in town. Yeah, he just brought some like new people to the table. We got the head makeup of Dexter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got the weapons person of Equalizer with Denzel. So it's like it's my first feature, and I'm working with like $200 million movie crew, and it's a low budget. So it's just like a lot of people are betting on me. So I feel a little bit of pressure, but I'm gonna deliver. Yes, I don't play.
Just be like Jermaine when Tom Brady got in the huddle with him and says, Wiggins, we're going to you. And he got that pass to set up the field goal.
He said, I ain't dropping it.
I ain't dropping it.
So just throw it to me, because I ain't going to fucking drop the ball.
I'm going to score the touchdown.
That's right. Ain't no doubt. Ain't no doubt.
One thing I definitely want to say for sure is there was nothing here for me when I was young. That's why I had to go out there. So one thing I definitely want to do is once I'm on is I want to bring in like youth that don't think this is a possibility. That's why I had the auditions at the Squire. I wish more people came. Yeah. Because a lot of people around here, they just don't think it could happen. Yeah. So.
Yeah, a lot of people showed up. I mean, there was a
lot of people. There was that one kid, he's got a pop because he sat through a beating and still came in, I don't know his name, but you got to roll. So,
Which one was that?
The last one. Remember? He came in. He was like,
I left early, remember?
No, we're like, oh, you all right? And he's like, oh, I ran into an old friend. He was like all beat up.
Oh, no. We must have left, huh? We must have left. Man. Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was really bizarre.
Really?
Yeah. Last audition. He sat there all day, and he must have took a beating in the parking lot.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It was funny when some people come in and they saw me, they're like, Beanshooter? Like, sitting there at the director's table, like, hey, you, fucking this and that. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's all been a real good experience so far, I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. It was fucking.
I can't wait for you guys to see what I got in store for you. It's all done, so I'm going to email it to you tonight.
Oh, awesome.
Me and Beanshooter together again, kid.
Yeah. And Jake's going to be involved too, your buddy that I met the other night.
Good.
Very cool kid.
Yeah. No, he's a great kid.
Met him
we love
before,
Jake.
And he's awesome.
We love Jake. He's a young kid.
Just a really nice kid. Just a really nice kid.
Just, listen, like me and Mike say all the time, if we fuck with you, we fuck with you. If we don't, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we will later, but if we don't, we don't, But me and Mike got a few haters. So I think that's good. I like
There's always
that.
a couple,
When you're doing good, the hate happens.
Yeah.
I got some haters.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It's good.
Yeah, some people
They
are
hate
jealous
us because they ain't us.
Yeah, jealousy
That-
and envy.
that-
It's a disease.
But I mean, to that, I can say that it's humbling to have as many supporters as I have, that Mike has, that you have. I mean, so it's a great feeling that
Yeah, the
people
St.
actually
Patty's Day
follow
parade.
you. Like that was epic,
the parade
epic.
was,
You know what I mean?
Oh my God!
Just a
I
great day.
stuck
Just
my
a,
truck right in the parade route.
How has your life changed since making that first video? Because it's pretty nuts. You didn't plan this.
Oh no, it's fucking bananas. I don't even know how it happened.
It's
fucking
bananas. I love that term too. It is.
Well, I had been
bananas.
following on Snapchat before that, and then the Instagram was growing, but that one video did go really, really, really viral. But yeah, it's just, I mean, I remember a few years ago, I was in Colombia, and I was in a bar eating a cheeseburger like 9 at night, and it was I think it was the Dallas Cowboys, Washington Redskins, where they missed 5 field goals and 3 extra points to kick it for Dallas. You remember that game? I was sitting there, and 3 guys come over and says, "Hey, can I ask you something?" And I get that a lot, around here, "Oh, you Beanshooter?" He goes, "Are you Beanshooter?" And where you from? And one was from Alabama, one was from Manhattan.
Wow.
And I was like, "Wow, yeah." And they would do that video with you. I don't make videos in the sober home anymore because privacy stuff. I don't do it before, but I come out and there was 4 guys and they all had 24 years and 26 years and 23 years and not all at once. One of them had a long one in, but
The Irish Rolex.
and I go, fuck, I got 13. We're almost at the century mark. And the guy from Alabama goes, "We're almost at the century mark." You know, and he was trying to do a long act. And I was like, wow, that's
awesome.
crazy. And when I was just in Medellin the other day, 2 people stopped in the airport, one from Canada and one from somewhere else.
No
"Bean
way.
Shooter,
What
can I
about the
take a
guy that
picture
came
with
and
you?"
had dinner with us, bought us dinner?
Where? In Colombia?
What, you don't remember we were in Colombia? The guy that came and bought us dinner at
Wow, I'm fucking really burnt, Justin.
Bohemia, that restaurant Bohemia. He come in from Dedham, the guy from Dedham.
Yeah.
He come in and said, was on our stories.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, I seen you guys were here."
Yeah.
And then the other kid that had a beard, he was like, "Oh, you're Beanshooter's boy.
Yeah.
What's up?" Took a picture with me. I'm saying it.
It's crazy how
Everywhere,
technology just has
everywhere. Listen, walking
everyone
through the North End. Yo, where's Beanshooter? I was at the Red Sox game, and a guy come up to me, and he was like, "Oh man," he goes, "I love what you're doing. Can I take a picture with you?" And then I'm there with a couple of guys that brought me to the game, brought me on the field. Was there
On the field, yeah, that was
during
awesome.
bringing the flag down. It was just an amazing experience. And then those 2 guys that did that for me, or the one guy that did that for me, the guy got our whole tab, left, and said, "Hey."
That was me.
That was
Yeah,
you.
that wasn't you. That was the guy that took the picture.
That was actually
But
me.
so, I mean, it's just been,
I didn't want
and being
anyone
with
to-
this
I didn't want
guy all
anyone
the
to
time.
know.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's
I don't like people to know.
Jermaine put me on the map, talking about me on the radio, and then hanging out with Mike. It's collabing on rails with him. I got, my stuff's growing.
Mike's a
It's
classic
very
guy.
sharp. Yeah, no.
I'm a
Listen,
gentleman.
we're having
I'm a gentleman.
we're having a blast, man. We're having, it's the
awesome.
greatest time of my life.
The guy who came and got the tab for dinner, Jamie O'Connor out of Dedham. He went to my dentist.
Yes.
And he got his teeth all done, and he actually got a diamond in his teeth like me. I got the
You
diamond.
got the diamonds?
And then the next day we went to the dentist and we said, "Hey," Mike said, "I sent you somebody. Where's my discount?"
Yeah, I had them translate. You're charging me because now I'm getting money signs and a lightning bolt, and I get all these crazy things in my teeth. So, and then they're trying to charge me $400 US. I'm like, I just sent a guy here who spent $10,000 in his teeth. Like, what's up? This should be free. I'm like, Johnny, tell him. So he's like, no, saying it in Spanish. Like,
Hey, where'd you learn Spanish?
I taught myself in prison.
Really?
Yeah.
That's an asset.
And you know what the thing is? Not that I'm saying it's not like I know a few words. I speak it fluently.
Yeah,
I was gonna do that too. I was gonna teach myself Spanish in prison, but I was like, this is too easy. I know.
Yeah, I gotta challenge
Chinese,
myself.
so I actually learned Chinese, but I never get a chance to use it.
No, Mike says like this. He goes. Mike says, "Listen, I know every single language but Greek. Try me." So I said something to him in Spanish, and he says, "It's all Greek to me."
But yeah, Johnny got to practice his Spanish down there.
No, man, I can't wait to go back.
In prison and jail, you use it all the time.
Oh, man.
Surrounded by, but then it's just like Spanish people, and they come here and stuff. I don't know. It's like when they go home, it's probably like a relief, right? Because you're around, But for Johnny,
I love to speak it.
Johnny, I said, you mastered it. He goes, no, I've not mastered it, but I got a firm.
I'm getting
firm
there
hold
with
of
it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, every day is a process. I can't talk to a lawyer in Spanish.
Obrigado.
Yeah, I can say lawyer. Yeah. But I mean, so that there's degrees of fluency, and I explained this to Mike, right? But I mean, it's a compliment when everybody says, "Oh my God, I can't believe you know Spanish." But I always say, "Look at the guy that knows 5 languages." You know what I'm saying? But
I think
it's a work in progress.
Think about all the Hispanic people that come here and they speak English and Spanish, and we don't even take that into account.
Right.
Like, you know 2 languages.
It's so hard. It's so
100%.
difficult, especially English. I guess English
crazy.
is real difficult to learn.
Very difficult.
Then they go home and they stop speaking it, like Johnny did when he got out. Right? They go home.
Well, I mean, I still practice every day. You know what? I think a lot in Spanish. I always think about things in Spanish. I mean, I think that's what helps me the most. I always listen to Spanish music. I listen to Spanish whenever I can. But I think about the complexities of the language when you put them side by side with English. And I'm always working out problems in my brain. And I'm always having conversations in my brain because, I mean, the thing is with me is like, oh, it's great to learn Spanish. I'm fascinated with it. I've always been fascinated with Spanish. So the first time somebody ever spoke to somebody in another language and I seen them, they were speaking to me in English and they talked to somebody in Spanish and it just caught me that day. And it was the most powerful thing I've ever experienced. So that's put me on a journey, where I first started saying that, John, you've started a lot of things, but finished very few. So I just made a commitment to myself to study it for a year. And that was 2015. And I've been studying ever since.
That's awesome.
Time flies, huh?
No,
time does
crazy.
fly.
I can't wait to go back to Colombia and practice.
I'm just thinking
I
I
wanna
got
go
sober in
next year.
2013, so you started speaking 2 years after that.
Yeah.
Started learning. Look how much you know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's amazing that, that when the power of it is when you're talking to people and they actually think that your first language is Spanish.
Yeah. Well,
They're
you
like,
probably surprised people.
And everybody's like, oh, you're a Dominican. Oh, you're Puerto Rican.
Venezuelan. You got Venezuelan.
Venezuelan, yeah.
Any Italian? Do you know how to speak any Italian?
No, you know why? Because I always tell people this, like I would learn Italian because I'm Italian, right? But it's just not accessible.
Yeah.
Like you can go on any TV station right now and hear Spanish.
Yeah.
You can
radio
talk to
station.
3 guys next to you that know Spanish, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I don't go to the North End, I'm not going to speak Italian.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Spanish is more accessible, and that's why I learned
it's
it.
the second language
You
for
have to hang
sure.
around with C Money every day to speak.
Yeah,
fucking
and
Italian.
so the guy like C Money, he speaks fluent Italian.
Yeah, he does.
We got a fluent Italian speaker impressed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, adding a little flavor to it. A couple different
Nice,
things.
I like that.
We're gonna be surprising a lot of people with some things. This new script, you got it when the new one comes. You guys,
Yeah,
are
I
like,
can't
"Woo!"
wait.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
'Cause if you like the bones, you're gonna like the meat and potatoes.
I'm excited
So
about
it starts filming
The 10th,
the 10th. All right.
the 10th, and then probably it's post production will be done before August, and then we go to film market. And A24 is buying this movie. I'm just calling it right now.
Yeah, I think so.
A24 is buying it. They're gonna give me a 3-picture deal. I'm gonna be the biggest director of this generation.
Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking
That's what's
go.
up.
Yeah. So when would it be out? August, September, October, what?
Depends. If a
Next year,
distributor buys it, I can't say. But
Yeah.
if we stayed fully independent, then we put out whatever. But the game is to get with someone hot like that. Set up your next play, and
Someone sees the
with
finished product. And
the
says,
thing with Gigi, the book Patriarchal Purge, like the creator of White Boy Rick's story.
yeah, of course. You know someone.
I know many of the people involved. In
Yeah,
it.
so the producer of White Boy Rick, who did the doc and the movie, he reached out to us. Like, it's crazy because we wanted to reach out to him, and me and Gigi
you
were
told
just
me that,
talking about it all the time, like literally just
Made it happen.
speaking it into existence.
Yeah, made it happen.
And I'm just driving one day, and then my phone rings, and I'm like, what's this? I don't know this. And I just answered. And the dude was like, hey, this is so-and-so, blah, 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 blah. I want to talk to you about
Jewish
it.
name, Jeff. What was the guy who did
Scott
the podcast?
Bernstein.
Scott Bernstein. He does like a podcast, right?
Yeah, he does. I
Yeah.
didn't even know he was in the film industry, He just happens to love true crime. But yeah, he's the reason White Boy Rick was created,
Yeah.
And he's going to help out with this. And hopefully we get that. That's the Netflix formula. Documentary, series, or movie. They keep doing the same thing. They got another thing about OJ. Like, they got like 4 John Gotti
It's like the
docs.
Whitey Bulger stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like,
it's done. No,
man,
Not a knock on anybody doing anything like that, but it's like, I'm
Let's
sure
see some new
people in
stories.
Hollywood are like,
Yeah.
that's, we heard that story. You know what I mean? That ship sailed.
Yeah.
You don't hear much about Patriarca, unsurprisingly enough.
No,
Here's
no.
a guy who just, he died a free man.
Yeah, he did. And then just that whole thing in the 80s to 90s is just, that's why it can't be a movie. And I pitched it as a miniseries because it's just like, it will be like an 8-hour movie, like so episodes, because there was a lot of shit going on back
I'll
then,
tell you
know?
what, if Whitey Bulger got all that, I mean, Larry Zannino deserves, his story told. The guy's a Boston legend.
Yeah, no doubt
Right?
about it.
J.R. Russo, East Boston guys, right? Isn't he
Yeah.
an East Boston guy too?
Yeah.
I don't know if Larry Zannino is. Yeah, he was. I think he was. Yeah.
Yeah,
He was,
like
actually.
these guys were like, fucking serious as
Serious.
you're gonna get. And fucking stand-up guys,
Yeah.
I like that piece of shit. But, it is what it is, But I'm totally excited. I wanna do you start shooting the tent at the Squire?
Yes.
So I'm gonna get on there. I gotta check
Yeah,
this
you
out.
have
I gotta
to be.
check
We're
this
going
out.
now.
For
You've got to be down
Yeah,
there.
no, I know.
You're
but,
in it.
But on the 14th, we got
The
right?
14th's the
My
big,
friend's
the
gonna be
big
in there
day.
too, right?
Yeah, the 14th will be like the huge, like, sequence. But the other days too, like I'd love to, get you. I got a couple different ideas,
Yeah,
especially the first day. First day is the locker room day.
yeah,
Yeah, so it could be some cool shit in there.
yeah,
But you got to read this new script. So
yeah, 100%.
I'm gonna send it to you tonight. But I don't think you filled out what I sent you. Yeah, you got to fill it out.
I'm Mike's secretary.
Yeah, I'm terrible. All right, I'm gonna fill that out tonight, and let's get this show on the road. I'm so pumped over this, and I'm so glad I met you. Your brother Jake, great fucking people.
Yeah, you
JG.
gotta have Jake come in here at some point.
Yeah,
Jake's this is gonna.
he's been working a lot, right?
Oh yeah, and he didn't. How it came about with him, like he didn't want. I'm kind of didn't force him into doing it, but I just know he's capable.
Yeah.
And I think this is gonna like change his whole
Trajectory.
trajectory of life.
Hopefully, it changes all of us.
Yeah.
Well,
definitely.
you're already a movie star. So.
You are already a movie star, Mike.
I got the teeth right anyway.
Yeah, no question.
People, and he says to me, "You know what your character's going to be?" I go, "What?" He goes, "Beanshooter." I should be able to nail it, but I always will end with this. I always tell a story. Dickie Eklund gets a call. He says, "Hey, they called me. They want me to be in this movie." That I always remember her name. I don't know why. Angela Perry, Boston casting.
Yeah,
or
she
whatever.
does the.
So Mark Wahlberg's doing this Boston Marathon movie, and the beginning scene, and I've never seen the movie. I don't watch a lot of movies. I like independent stuff like that. Like now, there's not a lot of good stuff out. Like I'm not going to go watch fucking Tokyo Drift. You know what I mean? I mean, no offense to that. People love that stuff, but I like Pope of Greenwich Village. Like these are all good movies,
Yeah.
Took my thumbs, Charlie.
Yeah. They took my thumb, Charlie.
Sometimes you just.
Superman would have cracked under that pressure.
Superman would have broke Charlie. So they call Dickie up in the beginning scene of the movie. There's like this guy, like a drug addict in his underwear on the bed, and the police raid it, and they're telling him like to say, "Oh, I just hit the girl with a smoothie." He's like, "A smoothie," talking about a clothes, like an iron, right? And he's like, "Where I come from, a smoothie's a blowjob." Like he keeps stopping the scene, and they're like, "Call it whatever you want. Just listen. Just don't worry about it. Just say you hit her with an iron, whatever you want to say, right? Just be yourself." They finally just said, "Just be yourself. Just be yourself." And he couldn't do it. The camera come on, and he was tongue tied, and he couldn't do it. And we're leaving. He's in the front seat. His nephew Sean Eklund was driving. We were leaving, and he lights up a Newport, and I go, "Dickie, that was a layup. All you had to do was be yourself." And he took a drag of the cigarette. He turned around, he looked at me, and said, "It ain't easy being me." So yeah, that was that. So hopefully it's a little easier being me. I think I'm used to talking in front of people and doing stuff.
It's gonna be a breeze.
Yeah,
We don't have a problem with that. Bro.
Yeah, we got this. And Rex, I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to thank you for reaching out to me and giving me this opportunity.
Absolutely.
And thank you, brother Jake, also. And I want to thank Vincent, Gigi, Marino, Platala, right?
You're gonna have to have we'll have a group thing after this, and I think that would be tight to have us all on. And then that other idea, I wanted to ask you if you were interested in that, we have the penthouse, and we wanted to do like
You
behind
had
the
me at Penthouse, but go ahead.
You had me at Penthouse. Little does he know, I was like, yep.
behind the scenes, like a podcast during like the filming.
Oh
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. I'll explain more. I'm gonna send you some pictures.
Yeah.
But it's be really cool.
I
It
like
was
the-
my brother's idea. I can't.
I was
take
going to say,
credit
I
for
like
it.
the way you think. Well, I like the
Yeah.
way Jake thinks, too.
Nah, my
question.
brother's a thinker.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. He was dying. He wanted to be here today, but he was just running around doing all the stuff that I couldn't do.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff.
We got a
Rex,
spot for him.
let's
Thank
do
you for
this.
having me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm pumped about
Oh,
this, man.
We're ready to roll.
A new
kid.
chapter.
Ready to be
right?
movie stars,
yeah,
Mike.
Yeah, another
Yeah.
chapter in a storied history.
Storied history.
All right,
History.
Justin, that's 46?
46 in the books.
Let's go.
Beanshooter, like a jet, let's go. Beanshooter, it's not a line he doesn't toe. In a world full of dogs, you're gonna need a dog catcher. If you're wearing a mask out there, and fresh air's gonna get you. He always shoots from the hip. For iced coffee, take a sip. Toss it out the window.